Look at my wrist, yeah, it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they satin. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. I see you looking, I see you watching. Wasn't too long ago, we was just talking. I'm sorry you hate me now, and I don't mean that I'm sorry for me. I'm just sorry for you, cause you won't get to see what a hot king can do when he's given the chance to become what he knew he could. Now my shit's popping, oh, and I'm shocking. I'm just from Buffalo, I shouldn't make it. Was right by my auntie, but that woman hated me. Good at pretending for everyone faking it. Now I'm awake and I see why they made the choice to kick me out just as soon as I made the choice. Now I'm a king, yeah, that's the thing. Happens a lot. Fatherless kids, yeah, we come by the lot. Changing shit whether you like it or not. He would come like it or not. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they satin. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. Fuck the whole industry, music and media. Started my own shit, I don't think they feeling me. I just don't get it, so fuck it. I'm done with all this luck shit. Y'all think y'all scaring me, so I address it. But now all your niggas is running. All of your mouths is just running. No talent, but your shit is funded. Now all y'all think y'all real funny. Clown flexing with that fake money. Can't buy shit without real shit, so you rent shit cause you real dummy. Just invest in mine like a broker. New money coming soon. Yo, last post got like 50,000, but you can't fill the fucking room. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they satin. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. Said we the boys on the south side, yeah, I see you. Mafia up on the north side, yeah, I see you. My blood fam, it's been a while, I wanna see you. My main girl, I thank God I get to see you. My day ones, let's post up, need to see you. To my baby girls, I promise daddy always see you. You all in, well bet, yeah, I'ma see you. Got all that pride, but ain't nobody wanna be you, yeah. Well, gramming up, yeah. Posting a selfie so everyone see you. Well, growing up, yeah. Daddy was flicking so he didn't see you. Well, run it up, yeah. We on the court while you sit in the bleachers. Well, bump it up, yeah. Turn it up more with the drums of the speakers. Drip, drip, got that wet on my wrist, cause we respect women. Honey, she a queen bee and she need me to protect the image. Finna cup a Tesla and a fitter, cause I got that checking with me lately, cause I'm thinking crazy, getting tested. But all of my demons are weak, yeah. In a new state every week, yeah. Make it like Stacey a show. Stacking my Bibles in threes, yeah. Said I'm crazy, I might be. My city stand right behind me. My queen is my Aphrodite. Got the whole fam beside me. We the boys on the south side, yeah, I see you. Mafia up on the north side, yeah, I see you. My blood fam, it's been a while, I wanna see you. My main girl, I thank God I get to see you. My day ones, let's post up, need to see you. To my baby girls, I promise daddy always see you. You all in, well bet, yeah, I'ma see you.
What up, what up?
Got all that pride, but ain't nobody wanna be you. Yeah, well said, ooh, yeah, wait, well, like Afro Man wrote a coupe de ville, I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, like Sam Crow, but I'm real grim, I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, all this cash flow, but I can't swim, I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, out in Buffalo, let's meet at Tim's, and like, New Island, stay coasting, can't find it, stay ghosting, my silence is smoking, outshining the ghosting, headlining the shoulder, reclining my throne, fine dining, you know that, co-signing my flow, I'm the ruler, I'm known, yeah, all of my shooters stay close, yeah, all of my jewelry cold, yeah, all this foodery, oh yeah, Lex Luthor my role model, one queen and I throw models, drip wet so I need goggles.
Full Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, testing, testing. Is this mic on? Testing, 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 testicles, testing, testicles, a testicles, a testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1183 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and of course the slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches? What's going on, booshes, busters, hustlers, and hoes? Thanks for joining me on Instagram, on YouTube, Daily Swole Podcast, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, wherever you like to get the eye gains, the ear gains, fucking all your orifices, and shamelessly so. Shamelessly. I don't care. I'm just smashing. Just smashing. I come here to smash. I come here to smash. Y'all. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you enjoyed yesterday's Slamcast. If you missed it, man, what an amazing podcast yesterday. How do we top that one? Should I just stop? Should that be the end? Is that the last podcast ever? Is that the last one we're going to do? My goodness. Where do we go from here? That should have been like, okay, and we're done. That's it. No more podcast. No more nips. No more Smashcast. No more Slamcast. We're done. Oh my God. Excellent. How many of you actually how many of you went through that whole thing already? I mean, a lot of you actually listened and caught live, so you don't have to go back, but you got some gems. You have some absolute gems. You got some fucking knowledge cock slapped around. Even Michelle was swinging some knowledge cock yesterday. Am I right? Or am I right? My goodness. It was great. It was excellent. Oh, I fucking loved it. What a great podcast. The Avengers Endgame of podcasts. I love the little memes, the little things you guys were dropping. You're like, Avengers Endgame is the most ambitious crossover ever. Papa Swolio, hold my coffee. Hold my coffee. It's time to fucking swing cock. Oh my God. What a great episode. I was trying to listen to it yesterday. You had that gym Wi-Fi. I was there almost live. No way I could have if I wasn't on vacation. Well, of course. All right. Well, I mean, you got those vacation gains. It's all good. As long as you catch it. That's a great thing. If you can't catch it live, it's great to catch those things live. Speaking of live casts, this Sunday, I will announce what time it is as soon as I can. So if you want to really kind of get like the latest, like the timing wise, if you're not on, you could also send us an email if you're not on the mailing list. If you want to join up and get notified, you can send a message on Facebook. You'll get messaging alerts or for certain events and stuff like that. But I will also post these types of things in my Instagram story. This Sunday is the Sunday Funday Q&A-ness. So for those of you that want to ask questions, for those of you that are always looking to ask questions, or you have something that you want to talk about, make sure you show up for Sunday's podcast, because I answer as many questions as possible. So that means day after tomorrow, that's episode 1185, Sunday Funday Q&A-ness. So that's going to be sweet if you like to ask questions and shit like that. Brand new YouTube video on the main channel, brand new YouTube video on a very special individual, someone who is kind of like the walking embodiment of cringe, but you can go check that out. I'm not going to say anything more. If you haven't listened to it or watched it, check it out already. Go check it out. It's another kind of like, someone who made her mark off being obese. And what bothers me about that video, and again, you can go check it out on the main channel at Swolenormous. What bothers me is when people are famous and make their money from obesity, but then deny and kind of resent people for complimenting them when they're getting healthier. You put yourself in a box. You put yourself in a corner when you make your mark by being fat. You do. When you make your mark being like part of like the fat acceptance or body positivity movement, when you make your mark, when you get famous, when you get paid, when you get sponsorships, when you get on television shows, when you are on that level and your livelihood depends, and everything that you said in magazines, everything that you said in articles and interviews and content, everything is about you being overweight, everything's about you being obese. Guess what happens? Once you realize, holy shit, I got to take control of my health. Holy shit, I need to do something about this. Once you realize, oh my God, I need to change, your doctor tells you you're going to fucking die in 5 years, all of a sudden you're a hypocrite if you start to lose weight. So then you have to pretend that you don't want to lose weight. Then you have to pretend that, oh, that's not what I really want. I don't want you to lose weight for health. I want you to exercise just to be healthy, but you don't have to lose weight to be healthy. You have to do these like fucking talk arounds. You have to mind fuck yourself and mind fuck your audience into trying to maintain your position, but still, rebranding. Yeah, by rebranding, that's the thing. It applies to Tess Holliday. It applies to Whitney Waythor. People are very self-loathing. And I understand that when you're obese, you're frustrated. You might be frustrated losing weight. Okay, I get it. Not everyone has the same ability to lose quickly. A lot of these issues that cause obesity can be caused by improper nutrition, by chronic exposing yourself to pesticides and to all these neurotoxins in our environment. So all this kind of exposure to junk food and just the fundamental lack of health and quality of food in many families growing up, you can actually you can actually create these illnesses and diseases that cause the perpetuation of weight gain. And for people that are trying to lose weight, it might be hard. I understand. But a lot of things in this life are hard. And just because it might be challenging for you, and I'm talking to these celebrities and these people that I'm making videos about, just because it's hard for you doesn't mean it's not a good idea to do it. Doesn't mean that weight loss is not directly related to health. And people will make this exaggeration that if you're losing weight for health, weight loss doesn't equate to health. Well, if you're obese, yeah, it fucking does, because obese means you have a lot of extra. You don't need that much on your body. You know why? And you know what happens when you have a lot extra? Your body says, fuck, we got to do something about this. Or a lot of metabolic processes fucking get jacked up because you as an individual have too much extra. Too much extra. Too much extra. You got too much extra fat. It causes the system to fucking overload in many different ways. I'm talking very basic. I'm not using medical terms for obesity is a medical term, but I'm, overload in that sense. But think about, let's say you have a Toyota Corolla. All right, whatever car you have, think of like a small sedan, Toyota Corolla. But you load up like you're like packing from college or you're moving and you stuff the back seats just full of shit. The trunk is packed full. How many of you have ever had like a small sedan and you just pack the fucking car and you step outside like you're moving or you're going on vacation or whatever and you pack it to the brim? And then you're like, you go back in for the last load, you walk out and you see the shocks, how they're sitting so low and the back wheels are almost tucked. It's kind of like the car is slammed, like you did it on purpose, but it's because of the weight. The springs are compressing. What do you think happens when you're obese? Your springs compress. Your suspension compresses. Not only that, you're stressing the engine, you're stressing the transmission, like all these other things, because when you have a lot of weight, and I'm not a car expert, but when you have a lot of extra weight, the whole geometry of the axles change and it's going to fuck your transmission up over time. I think a lot of you can understand what I mean, right? You put on an extra load or you load up a Porsche. A Porsche is not designed to haul shit. You don't see a lot of Porsches with a fucking U-Haul strapped to the back, okay? There's certain, the car, that's why you have an SUV. That's why you have a pickup truck. That's why you have a dually. That's why you have a station wagon. That's why you have a sports car. They have different purposes. When it comes to the human body, your body has to be adapted, but your body is designed to have a fucking moderate weight. Your body is designed to be, there's an optimal weight for your body. There's an optimal weight for your body. I don't think there's not really a debate for that. There's an optimal weight for your body. Does it mean that if you're overweight, you're going to have diabetes guaranteed? It does not, which is a good thing. You're not guaranteed. And this is where yesterday's podcast that Alan, Michelle, John, and I were talking about, because we make critical videos. Critics, there's movie critics. We're making critical videos on people, and it's a sensitive issue. It's a sensitive issue, and everyone nowadays gets fucking butthurt. So when you're making videos about sensitive issues, it can get misconstrued. And I get sent a lot of messages from people that show me on their profiles that they are posting similar stuff. I think they might see my stuff and they get inspired. They want to share that. So they post it on their page and they get torn the fuck apart. And I think it's because they're changing gears. They're shifting the type of content they're making. And all of a sudden, if you're making just only positive content, you're not doing critical stuff. And all of a sudden you show a picture and say, stop being obese and you got to get your shit together. People are going to lash out because it's that contrast and you're changing. And John had this issue yesterday. He was talking about how a lot of people that were following him didn't like his new content. And it's like, well, if you're adjusting and you're adapting and you're changing as a person, if you're changing and adapting as a person, it's okay. Your content's going to change. Things can change. It's supposed to change. If you're always doing the same fucking shit and you're not changing, you're not growing. You're not learning. You're not experimenting. You're not becoming a more, I guess, well-rounded person. So my content has changed and it will continue to change. And, it's just the way of life. Everyone should be adapting and adjusting and growing and learning new things and, growing into themselves and trying different things, whatever. So you have to do, as long as you're doing what's authentic to you. And the title of this episode, Check Yourself, and it says on the board behind me, you gotta fucking check yourself first, no matter what it is. Put yourself in check. Are you taking responsibility? Are you holding yourself accountable? Are you full of fucking shit? I catch myself being full of shit sometimes. A lot of times I'll catch something like, oh, I couldn't get this and I couldn't go to sleep early enough. But it's like, okay, no, that's an excuse. I could have gotten up earlier. I could have done this. I could have done that. You catch yourself making excuses. You catch yourself kind of being a little weak-willed. But that's okay. That's the common battle. That's the struggle in the human mind. Everyone, each and every single one of us has a conversation in our own heads. We have a conversation and we're always under this debate. We have that good and bad, the conscience, right? You have like go eat that pizza. Another one's like, go, don't eat the pizza, go to the gym. And it's about what voice that we listen to. But if we're authentic to ourselves, and especially for those of us that create content, myself, podcasts, and everyone else that was on yesterday, anyone else that's making videos on it, if you are authentic to yourself and you have the right intent and you're sending a message that is with the intent of helping people, it's going to come through. It's going to come through in the undertones. It's going to come through in the language. It's going to come through with the consistency. And, I guess some people have that what's the word? Some people have that kind of like unstated, that kind of underlying, you can just sense what they are trying to do. If they're trying to scam you or sell you something only, they just want your money, or are they actually trying to help you? And, some people can, I guess, quote, get away or can provide that message, and other people, it just doesn't come off as sincere or comes off as, you're trying to pretend to be a little bit more aggressive. So I can be aggressive. Alan can be aggressive. Michelle can be aggressive. John can be really nice. But we all have a very similar message. And of course, yesterday, we agree on a lot of issues and maybe our approach is different, but it's important that you check your own mindset. So I'm always checking myself, and I'm fine with being like, you're full of shit. I'm like, man, you're just making a fucking excuse. I make excuses. I catch myself. An excuse is just a reason not to do something. It doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It doesn't mean that it's also a bad reason. You understand? If you make an excuse, what's an excuse? How would you define an excuse? I define an excuse as a reason to not do something. It doesn't mean that it isn't a good reason. If you got a flat tire, you're not driving across the country today. You're going to have to get that tire fixed. Shit, I had to wait till tomorrow because I got a flat tire. I mean, that's a reason why you couldn't do something. Is it an excuse? Yeah, I guess it's an excuse, but it's a good one. I mean, it's a higher level excuse. It's a higher reason. Unless you're just going to hop on a plane and take it across the country, but maybe that was your only way or you had to drive for a certain reason. You got a flat tire, shit happens. It's technically an excuse, but it's definitely a better one than, I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like going to the gym. That's an excuse. That's a shitty one. Sometimes things come up. You got kids, you got 2 jobs, you have responsibilities. I get it. And that's why I talk about taking a day off. One day off isn't going to kill you. Taking off now and again is not going to be bad. You miss a day? Okay, fine. Do something else. Do some mobility. Do some meditation. Get back on the pony tomorrow. 24 hours is not going to make or break your gains. You're not going to get all the gains tomorrow or today in one day. Like when I go to the gym today, I'm not going to get all my gains. I'm not going to preserve all my muscle today, and I'm not going to make all the progress today. It's one brick in the wall. It's one little step. It's one little moment. It's one little thing. It doesn't mean that this is going to be everything for my training. It's not going to knock me down the flight of fucking stairs. This is all about consistency and the long term. And Alan said it very eloquently yesterday when we talk about lifestyle change, which is why I promote the elimination. It's about choosing training methods and nutritional methods that you can stick to, that you can adhere to for the long term. When you have consistency of mind, consistency of training, and consistency in what you observe around you when you're watching content, when you're listening to these fucking fat acceptance people and all this bullshit, all these excuses that you hear just fucking permeating ever, all the reasons why you shouldn't, that you don't have to lose weight, all the reasons why you don't have to be healthy. A lot of this shit is subjective. A lot of this stuff is subjective. However, the objective facts are that obesity fucking frequently leads to illness and disease. Okay? I quoted the fact today. 2/3 of the American population are overweight. I said in the video, diabetic, pre-diabetic, that's about a third. 2/3 are overweight. So you can take those stats. I mean, overweight, I'm not sure how they're defining overweight, but I think we can all agree, even people that are skinny have a little bit of a gut. You have too much body fat. There is an optimal body fat percentage and an optimal mass for you. If you're 6 feet tall, if you're 5 foot tall, you are going to have a body weight. It's called your BMI. Now, there's issues with BMI. BMI is, your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. So this is a very rudimentary method to approximate your proper body mass, which becomes more and more inaccurate as you build some muscle. So it's a very neutral kind of like, okay, your BMI, have you ever worked out before? No. Let's get an idea. It's an idea. It's a range. And it's normal for women to have a little bit of a higher body fat percentage than men because of hormonal balance. Okay. So these numbers are not equal, 100% from person to person, but we have this average. We have this average for body mass index. So we know that people should be within a certain range. Now, of course, if you build muscle, you're not really, the BMI is not a good method. So according to BMI, I'm obese. But obviously, I am not obese. It's just that my height and my mass, because muscle for volume weighs more than fat, I'm like 190, 195. If I was a much lower lean body mass, I had more body fat, and I still weighed 190 or 195 at my height, I would be considered obese. So the BMI only looks at the absolute weight, the mass, and the height. Doesn't discern between body fat percentage. So when it comes to BMI, I don't know if any of you know your BMI, but that's how you can calculate it. Take your weight. If you're American, you take your weight, you divide it by 2.2 to get kilograms, and then you can do the math. If you want to get meters, what do? Take your height in inches, you multiply it by 2.54 to get centimeters, or you divide it. No, you multiply it 2.54 centimeters an inch, and then you divide that by 100, get meters. Just ask your phone. Ask Siri to do it, or Alexa, and then you can calculate that. So your height, your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. And that's, yeah, exactly. It's for the general population. Garen Kumps, good name, Garen Kumps, good fucking name. Holy shit. It's for the general population. It's for the untrained. So what does this mean? Well, we have 400 million people in the country and 7 billion people in the world. We have a lot of people that we have to create some of these averages. So by observing billions of people over hundreds of years, we get an idea of where a human being should be. People are not meant to be overweight. People are not meant to be obese. You're not meant to be sitting around, not utilizing a lot of calories and consuming excess calories. Being obese used to be a sign of fortune, used to be a sign of wealth, because if you had the ability to be overweight, my goodness, if you had the ability to be overweight, you had excess. You had all the food. You didn't have to work and do labor. You weren't burning calories and you're eating too much. And one of the reasons why grains and stuff, it started leading towards poorer populations or lower socioeconomic people to gain weight is because of the gluten, because of the processed sugars. You're giving people foods that are causing inflammation and aren't providing fiber and aren't providing a lot of real nutritional value. It's just filling up the diet with bulk so you feel full, but it's not providing a lot of nutrition. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. It's this whole shift. If you look back at the history of food in this country and then economics, and I'm not going to get into the weeds with that. You can go and read some books and research it, but it's all there. It's all there. But obesity is a newer thing. Obesity has risen and increased dramatically with our technological advances and because of our lower quality food. We're utilizing with technology the ability to create food, all different types of fucking food from corn. And corn is dirt cheap. Why do you think everything in the Midwest is now corn? Like we barely grow anything else. It's soy and fucking corn because we make everything with soy and corn. Extremely acidic. Soy fucking raises estrogen levels. I mean, that's why vegans have a lot of fucking health problems. That's part of it. And there's soy in everything. There's soy in everything and there's corn in everything. And there's just fucking high levels of sugar. So people are exercising less and less. We have cars. We have Amazon Prime. There's all these things that we have in order to make our lives easier. We don't have to do jack shit. We fucking don't have to do a goddamn thing. We don't have to do a fucking thing. I literally take out my phone, I swipe a couple times, and I can order food for the week, all my things. I love it. I love Amazon. It's really convenient. It's great. However, it makes this whole ability to save ourselves time makes us lazy as shit. Like, when's the last time you fucking walked anywhere? When's the last time you walked anywhere? I go to the gym. I'm super close to my gym. I fucking drive. I drive. Especially on leg day, I drive. But I mean, it's very noticeable when you look at it in terms of society. When you step back, okay, this person's really overweight. I understand there's sometimes hormone issues, there's thyroid issues, there's all these little issues, but where do these issues come from? Are people just naturally, they just have a fucking fucked up thyroid? All of a sudden they have a thyroid issue when they're a teenager? A lot of these things come from food abuse and from making poor choices. And of course, those things can cross over with your genetic profile. And then you expose yourself genetically, epigenetics, right? You turn on certain gene sequences by eating a lot of garbage foods, maybe certain environmental or xenoestrogens and things like in shampoos, conditioners, colognes, perfumes. We surround ourselves with all this fucking shit. And I'm not an absolute expert on it. I'm just aware of a lot of these factors. So a lot of you are aware that there's all these different types of shampoos and conditioners and colognes and moisturizers, but there's a lot of fucking chemicals in all of those. And not all of them should be putting on your fucking skin. Not all of them should be sprayed on your face. Not all of them should be absorbing into your body every fucking day. Every fucking day. When you wash yourself with soap, are you absorbing chemicals into your skin every fucking day? Every day? Your skin is a mouth. Your skin absorbs moisture. Your skin absorbs nutrients. Your skin absorbs things. So if you're exposing yourself to shit every day, this is not something where you use a soap or a shampoo and the next day you have cancer. This is something that you've used and exposed yourself to these chemicals for 30 or 40 or 50 fucking years at a low level, and it leads to something. It leads to the growth and the gestation, and you add that into air fallout, brake dust, food, and just exposure, stress, lack of exercise. There's all these different factors. And that disconnect. So you have mental stress, you have physical stress, you have environmental stress, you have all these different levels of stress and low level. It's just constant exposure. It's consistency. Just like exercise is consistent effort, a lot of these illnesses and diseases and problems come from consistent exposure. Consistent exposure to these problems, consistent exposure to all these toxins and all these issues. So it's something that usually builds over time. Look at baby powder now. Cancer, who knew? Is that right? Are you trolling or is that something that came out? See, I don't use baby powder, so I don't know. There's all those things. All of it. Next videos are walking while gaining. Some crazy guy yelling while walking down the street. Let's see. Bridget walked into town today to the town hall. I do that on purpose. Easiest way to get exercise in my day. This kind of goes back to what I was saying the other day about when you're sleeping on the floor, you're getting up and getting down. Those subtle things that you can do to move more. Plus, it fucking feels great. So anyway, I got people talking about organic sugar and shampoo and blah, blah, blah. But all those things, all right? And it doesn't mean that, for example, if you're using Head and Shoulders that you're going to die from it. I'm just saying there are a lot of things that you're not told. There's a lot of things that you have to dig in really fucking deep. You have to go really fucking deep on some of these issues. They don't want you to know this because they're making tons of money. And a company is going to make something as cheap as possible, as inexpensive as possible. And even if it costs you, the consumer, your health, most companies don't really give a shit. Or there isn't enough evidence to prove that it happens long term. So it massages people's ego and people's awareness. So if you don't have research, you always say, well, there's no direct evidence. So people can do this stuff with more of a clear conscience. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean that's not legit. Doesn't mean that you're not getting a lot of these issues. So What we got here? Natural body wash. Have used it for years. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And if you have, for example, like Ash said on Facebook, if you have a gluten sensitivity and you're using, for example, shampoos that have those things, you're going to have reactions on your skin. You could have rashes. You could have dry skin. You could have these other issues. It's not just what you're consuming through your face hole. There's a lot of different things out there. And again, I am not a fucking top level expert on all the different subtle differences, but I encourage you to expose yourself to these things and to, the information and to look and research it. Everything from plastic water bottles all the way down to the bedding that you use, the mattresses, the pillows, the fabric softeners, and all those things, the household cleaners. There's a lot of shit that and if you think about all those things, let's say none of them are just that bad. Let's say they're a little bad. Let's say that from the household cleaners, but you're spraying that to clean your house down. Okay, cool. You're cleaning off the countertop or the stove. What happens when you turn that stove on? It's heating. It's going into the air. What kind of soap are you washing your dishes with that you're going to be putting in your fucking mouth? What are you cleaning your carpet with? What are you wiping the windows down? What are you spraying on yourself for cologne? What fucking moisturizer and hand sanitizer and all those fucking triclosan fucking things that you're putting on all the time? The gum that you're chewing, the environmental factors, and if you're living in a city and you're breathing brake dust all the fucking time, like there's a lot of shit on very low levels all the time. When you think about it, all those things I mentioned, if you're getting a little bit of shit from every one of those fucking things all the time, think about like what that leads to 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, especially as technology gets better. We're using lower quality products and recycled shit, and who knows what the fuck is in half this stuff. Who knows? But there's stuff like, apple cider vinegar can be used for everything from a fucking facial toner to a cleaner. Everyone's got their preference, but you can look up a lot of these natural things. Just got to Google it. A little time, a little effort, and you can find out a lot of shit. So just keep that in mind, that you're not limited to, you're not, let's say, you're not a victim to this shit. Okay. You're not demon. You're not, what's the word? You're not, I don't know. You don't have to be a victim to it. You can learn, you can live, and you can adjust, and you can, make this less of a factor in your life. You'll find great stuff too. You'll find great stuff. You'll find great products. Anyway, kind of maybe that little bit of exposure will help build immunities. Maybe it depends on how old you are. Maybe when you're younger, that was possible, but maybe when you're older, not so much. There's a lot to be said for kids playing outside in the dirt, playing outside in the woods, and getting some of these immunities and kind of exposing themselves to repair and healing. If you put yourself in a fucking bubble, like the bubble boy, you're going to get sick. You're protecting yourself too much. You're sheltered. You don't have to go through your life, afraid. But think about what you're putting on your skin and putting on your body. It's not that much. It's not that far-fetched. If you're going to be eating better, why don't you try using more other natural products and stuff? I think it's just a much better approach. Exactly. Yeah, Kayla, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Even tampons and pads, they don't have to put what's in it, but they have lots of chemicals. My period stopped being so miserable when I switched to a cup and washable pads. That's very well known. And I think that's actually one of those legal things. I think there's a documentary on that they don't have to list the ingredients of what's in a tampon. You're putting that inside your pussy, and it's like leaching fucking all this chemicals inside you. You should absolutely be using other methods for your period. So ladies, if you're commenting, especially those of you that are on Facebook and YouTube, so I can bring your comments up on the screen. If you have any recommendations or any kind of experience with that, definitely comment in there, because some people might be like, oh, come on, you're so full of shit, bro. But it's totally true. It's totally true. Yeah, that kind of, I don't disagree. That kind of goes both ways. We got Drew's Yayes, Druzy Eyes on Instagram. Birth control is so bad for you, and most women freak out if you try to tell them that. I would agree, but I think children are worse. I don't know. Children versus cancer. I'm not sure. I don't know. Birth control has that's pretty important. I'm not sure. I think birth control is worth the hell. That's not funny. It is kind of funny, actually. Fuck it. It's just fucking hilarious. The trade-off there is legit, though. The trade-off there is legit. To not have a child, ooh, I'll take a little extra. I'll go for those short-term benefits. That's one of the few things I'll go for the short term. Menstrual cup is the way to go. Oof, you ladies have it rough. You ladies have it rough. Respect. I say it to Mama Swole all the time. Like, I am so glad I'm a dude. That's not a sexist thing. That's not a patriarch thing. I'm just glad I'm a guy. I can piss standing up and I don't have to bleed profusely once a month. That's fucking crazy. You ladies have it. Ugh. Respect. Honestly, the pill is greater than kids. The pill's better than kids. Let's see. It's so easy to take care of them. It's not as gross as you think. Wait, what is this from? Etsy is great, and plus they last. Oh, I thought you were talking about kids. I'm like, it's easy to take care of them, and it's not as gross as you think. They last 5 to 10 years. I'm like, your kids only last 5 to 10 years? That's dark. What is this, like the 1800s? You have to have like 10 kids to maybe make it out of the woods with like 1 or 2 maybe that can run the farm. All the girls get thrown. All the girls go in the river. Do you know that's how it started? That's how they created the lazy river. It was in China. It's actually called the Lady River because they would throw the female babies in the river, but then it kind of like got blurred with like language, and now it just became a lazy river, just kind of float down. Too soon? Come on, that was a good one. I know there's a little delay with the chat, but don't leave me hanging on this one. Come on. There we go. Lies. I should have just pulled that off and just been like, oh shit. And everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, spreading facts, going and telling your friends at a party. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where are you hearing this bullshit from? Are you talking about cloth pads? Plus, we don't have to push a human baby out of our junk. Ooh, my God. Can you imagine? The Red River. Oh my God. It's getting dark in here. It's getting dark. Getting dark on a Friday. Anyway, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the main topic, which was checking yourself, calling yourself out on your bullshit. So whether or not those reasons for your lack of health are related to your nutrition, your obesity, weight gain, there's mostly the people that get offended when we talk about, oh, come on, shut your fucking mouth, get your shit together, lose weight. There are people that have these kind of responsibility and accountability issues. And it's not to say that usually people that have actual medical conditions don't take offense because usually they're not watching my content, for example, but they understand their own reason for their situation, so they don't take it personally. And I certainly do not think that anyone who's obese is disgusting. I don't think that anyone that's obese, I don't think having extra weight is disgusting. I feel bad because most people that are obese, most people that have those issues with excessive weight gain and have trouble losing it, they're not raised properly. Your parents did not. Health and fitness is just, it's a new fucking thing. So we have this weird collide in society where we have fitness is so fucking popular. But then you also have just food and laziness and just lack of responsibility and entitlement is so high. So we have this clash. That's why we're having this social clash over body positivity, but body positivity, not from like amputee standpoint, but from an obesity standpoint. We have that clash between fucking getting off your ass and doing work and also having more compassion for people that didn't have the same type of, I guess, ability to have a good starting point, because not everyone was active when they were younger. A lot of your family members or parents are overweight or obese, and they pumped you full of sugar. They pumped you full of fast food and shit like that. It's, however, we have a lot of ability. We have a lot of information now. We have access to fitness. We have access to the Daily Swole podcast, where I can drop some fucking knowledge across your chin and in your ears. It's about knowledge. It's about knowledge, and it's about having that ability to make those decisions. And yesterday, and I've been talking about this a lot recently, so it was great that John brought it up in yesterday's podcast. When you give someone the information and they have the information, you're empowering people. That's why this podcast exists, because if you have information or you're exposed to ideas that might trigger you to want to pursue more information. Like, oh shit, that's a really good idea. I never heard of that before. Let me go research these things about my shampoo, my conditioner. I never thought about that. Oh wow, what's in my household cleaner? Let me go look it up. What's a good alternative? Google this. Good organic or natural household cleaners. Oh shit, I could buy that. Oh, that's at my local store. Let me get one of those instead of this. You learn and you get better. You don't have to do it overnight. You don't have to all of a sudden have all this information. But when you're exposed to these concepts, it'll stimulate. I'm trying to stimulate your I guess your inner child nature to like, oh, what's that? How come? Why? You have this ability to go on your phone and just ask questions, right? You can just ask questions and it'll tell you. Ask why more often. Look it up. If you don't know, Google it. You're not sure how to do something? Google it. You're not sure if there's another option for something? Google it. Look it up. See what it says. See what it says. It'll give you some more information. It'll give you an article. You read that. Oh, here's a book. Oh, you read that. And you kind of take it down the line. But to take responsibility and not feel entitled to have a certain thing and not hold resentment to your parents and resentment to your school because there's fucking decades of garbage. I remember growing up, there was a period, my mom raised me kind of like on organic stuff. I was pretty much like vegan, vegetarian when I was a little kid. She used to feed me lima beans and all this shit. Probably why I fucking hate those things to this day. But she used to feed me all that stuff. And this is in the 80s. This is when if you got an organic bar, a protein bar, like a Tiger Milk bar, those things tasted like fucking asshole. You didn't have all the artificial sweeteners as today. Those organic things back in the 80s tasted like fucking dog shit. But she raised me on just real natural foods. I didn't have any kind of like, candy, sugar, garbage. I didn't eat meat until I was like a few years old at least. And, once I got to be kind of like my teenage years, I went the other way. Your parents have less control over you. You're out of the house more, so I would eat a lot more junk. But I came back to it. It's funny how I came back to eating healthy. It's funny how I came back to wanting just real food just on my own, just in my life, in my life arc. I just feel better. You notice once you start eating real healthy food, you start eating real fucking food. It's that perspective. You have to go through life and you have to make some of these mistakes to have perspective. You don't know what a good relationship is. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but there's analogies fucking left and right. You don't know what a good relationship is until you realize what a fucking bad one is. You don't know what healthy food is until you've had healthy food and you compare it with shit food. If you're eating really good homemade food, how many of you eat and make all your own food and you rarely go out to eat? And how many of you, like when you see something that's processed, whether it's fast food or pizza or something, like you literally kind of get a little bit nauseous. Like it kind of makes you sick to your stomach. It doesn't process properly. You can't imagine eating it. It's really hard. So when people ask me, what do you do to cheat? Honestly, it's really hard for me to cheat because I just don't want that food. I look at that and I'm not going to enjoy it. I can't switch off this awareness and I'm not going to get pleasure out of it because I know how fucking shitty it is. I would really rather make my own homemade pizza, whether it's with cauliflower crust or almond, whatever it is, but I would enjoy the taste more because the ingredients would have more vibrant flavor. I would prefer that. I don't want to go out. I get invited sometimes like, oh, let's go and let's grab a steak over here. I don't want to eat steak anywhere else because it's going to be garbage fucking meat. And I like the way I cook it better. I like the way I cook my food. I know how I like it. I know what to do. I just prefer the taste. I don't get pleasure out of going and eating someone else's food that's cooked in oils and things that I don't like. I just don't like it. And it's not rude. I'm not trying to be rude to someone else, but I just don't prefer other people's methods of cooking more often than not. I like my food the way I like it. I know how to cook it, so I'm going to get my fuel from me. And that's it. And I'm in control of my food. I'm in control of my ability to make my food. When you're in control and you have that knowledge, you're able to swing that fucking dick a lot more. It's a fact. John said it yesterday. He didn't say the swinging the dick part, but he was talking about the knowledge. Now, I think knowledge is power. It's a silly kind of cliche, but it's true. If you have the information, you can make the better decisions. Now, information doesn't beget actual action. That's the problem. I could sit here and do another 1,183 episodes and you might still be listening like, oh, cool, but not take any action. I can't control what you do, but I can try to fucking stimulate some type of response and bring awareness so that when you start going through your life, you start noticing these things, you start noticing these changes, you notice these differences. But when it comes to fast food, man, I'm fucking grossed out. I can't do it. I can't do it. Can't fucking do it. I absolutely can't fucking do it. No way. No fucking way. Ariana, cheat foods sound good to me in theory, but when it comes to it, I can't imagine actually eating it. I just don't get pleasure out of those things, but we're surrounded by it all the time. So for those of you that are dealing with obesity, like one of the issues with obesity and one of the issues with weight gain when it comes to food is it's easy to say fast food. When you say fast food, it's easy for people to understand what you're talking about. However, obesity comes in so many different ways in addition to just fast food. It's not just McDonald's and Burger King and those types of things that actually cause obesity. It's just excessive caloric intake. It's all the gluten and grains. It's all the processed sugars and sodas and things that you're getting at your supermarket. It doesn't have to be fast food. Is there anything faster than fucking going to the store? It's the same thing as fast food. If you go to a McDonald's and you order a Happy Meal, you can go into your supermarket and get a 2-liter bottle of soda. It's all fast food. We're calling fast food. We're singling fast food out as to only the places that are giving you a fucking bag in a window. I'll tell you what, when I go to the supermarket, that's fast food to me. I go in, I put them in a fucking cart, I leave, I swipe my card, and I walk out. That's pretty fast fucking food. That's pretty fast food. I go in, I get my food, and I leave. So to assume that fast food is the only problem, Subway, Burger King, Taco Bell, get the fuck out of here. You go in the supermarket, it's packed with fast food. It's packed with things. The chip aisle, it's all fast food. The Snickers bars and the candy, it's all fast food. The soda, it's all fast food. It's ready. The soda's ready. If you go and get a raw piece of meat, you got to cook it. So that's not fast food. You can purchase it fast, but you have to cook it. Think about that shit. It's all fast food. The supermarkets are mostly fast food. All those middle aisles where you don't have to refrigerate things, that's fast food for the most part. Rice and all those, things you have to actually cook and heat up. But most of those things in the supermarket are fast food. Fruit is fast food, motherfucker. Fruit is fast food. You don't have to prepare it. Or you rinse it off. You wash it off. Boom. You put it in your mouth. Done. Fast food. Fast as fuck. Simple. So it's all about how you think about things. So the ease of access, if you want preparation, fine, you get into a routine. You have to make these lifestyle changes to avoid becoming obese or to reverse it. But the information, the knowledge isn't action. You have to take action. You have to take that knowledge and fucking go somewhere with it. You have to go somewhere with it. It's not going to happen on its own. You have to take it somewhere. But you have to understand that you have the control and you can't succumb to this mindset of just relinquishing control. Don't relinquish it. Don't relinquish your facts. Don't relinquish the facts to feelings. Don't substitute your facts with feelings. And that's what that Whitney girl on the video that I made on YouTube today, that's what she's doing. She's relinquishing her facts or the facts are facts for her feelings. She's taking offense and she was insulting her followers. Don't compliment me on my weight loss. I didn't ask for that. I'm not your weight loss inspiration. Well, that's a waste of your stature. That's a waste of your popularity. You're going to tell people that I'm exercising for my health, but that doesn't mean that I have to lose weight. The fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, Whitney? You dumb beesh. The fuck are you talking about? Seriously, what the fuck are you talking about? What in 10,000 ungodly fucks are you talking about that you're exercising for your health and you don't have to lose weight? That you don't have to lose weight, that losing weight is not a metric of self-worth. That you're changing the topic. No, that's not the right argument. Was that considered a straw man argument? You're just kind of misdirecting? That's a really great debate tactic, but don't take us off fucking topic. It's so subtle. It's so fucking subtle. It's so subtle and it's so conniving. It's fucking evil. It's manipulative. And I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if people like Whitney are actually conscious of what they're doing. They're just so fucking, they're fucked in the head so much, so bad. So they're just so fucked that they are so just manipulative on a low level. They can't even process it because that's such a thin, like they're just tight roping that shit. Fucking tight roping that shit. Think about what that means. Maybe I'll bring up the quote and we can look at it. Whitney with this fucking, let's see, doesn't want blah, blah, blah. The exact quote, because the exact quote was actually, the exact quote was something that I wanted to share. So let's see if I could bring that up here. Okay, so, all right, so here is the People magazine article. Let me bring this over a little bit. Can I bring that over? Okay, here we go. Try to bring this up on the screen. Da-da-da. Perfect. Okay, so here's the article on, I'm just bringing this up on the screen. So on Instagram, you can't see it. You can go and catch it on YouTube at Daily Swole Podcast. So she said here's the actual article quote. So for someone that has a huge following, this is what she says. She goes, quote, "I've been reading my comments and a large majority of them are people congratulating me for losing some amount of weight that you have perceived that I have lost. But I guarantee you that I'm still fat as shit and this hasn't changed from day one. I'm just not out here to be anyone's weight loss inspiration." You can tell that she's self-depreciating and she's fucking miserable if she's saying that I'm still fat as shit. That's a very negative way to talk about yourself. So for someone that is claiming that it's such a negative thing and negative connotation, blah, 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 you're pretty much a fucking hypocrite. So for example, if you're inclined, quote, "If you're inclined to be inspired by me, I appreciate that and I see you, but I'm just a complex human being focusing on a lot of other things besides losing weight. So it's just not something I will ever feel comfortable saying thank you for. If you're inspired by me, I'm glad, that's wonderful. But I hope it's because I'm a woman who learned to love herself no matter what size she is." So you're losing an opportunity to actually explain to people that, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I didn't lose much weight, but it's good to lose weight so you don't fucking die. It's good fucking weight. It's good to lose fucking weight. You're obese. You're morbidly obese. And this is the part that I said that in order to preface this. And again, if you're watching on Instagram, you go on the Daily Swole Podcast channel on YouTube and catch the live stream and you see this, the article I'm pulling up right now. Reminder, quote, "Reminder, your value does not increase if your weight decreases." She said, "You can implement healthy behaviors as a fat person or a thin person independent of weight." No shit. You can go skiing or jet skiing. You can go for a walk. You can watch TV if you're a fat person or a thin person. Like, this is an argument that doesn't make any fucking sense. It has no context. It has no context. These types of people have no understanding of what context is. They don't fucking understand. What the fuck is this? Claim my free tote? Suck my dick. Get the fuck out of here, people. Trash. Covering this garbage. Let's see. Changing your body is not the key to happiness, but changing your mindset is. Okay, so don't change your body. Don't change your body. Changing your body is not the key to happiness. What does that have to do with anything? We're not talking about happiness. We're talking about health. Changing your body is not the key to happiness. Sure. Money isn't the key to happiness. Okay. You're just saying words. So you're using these altruistic and these complicated terms that says, oh, well, changing your body is not the key to happiness. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Thank you. Thank you for the philosophy lesson. However, losing fucking weight and changing your body and not being a morbidly obese fucking moron, that will help you with your health. And I think if you're healthier, that can lead to happiness because you'll live longer enough to be happy. Let's follow up with this bullshit now that we're here. You can lose weight or you cannot, but regardless, exercise will benefit you in a million other ways. Thor reiterated that she works out for her health, not to change her size. Okay. Thor reiterated, it's so ironic that her name is Thor, and I used in the video, I said, she's more like Thor at the end of Endgame, not like the regular Thor that we think of. She reiterated that she works out for her health, not to change her size. Let's zoom into that bullshit. Let me see how big I can get bullshit on this fucking screen. She works out for her health. Yeah, I can't bring it over here a little bit more. All right, whatever. Fucking stupid shit. She works out for her health, not to change her size. Not to change her fucking size. You work out for your health, not to change your fucking size. Anyone? Bueller? I want to come back. I want to come back. Show Papa. Show Papa. No. Show me. Show my desktop. People, this is the poisonous shit that we're dealing with. So for those that didn't see the video, go watch the video. It's on my YouTube channel. But just some fucking perspective. Just some perspective on this ridiculous shit. You work out for your health, but not to change size. You work out for your health, but not to change size. Well, if we discuss the basic concept that if you're obese, your health is suffering, then you should be training to change your fucking size. It doesn't make any sense. But this is an important message. Like this article, a lot of people are reading that like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, she loves herself so much. Well, you love yourself because it's easier. It's easier. It's easier to sit here and for me to be like, you know what? I love my beard. What the fuck is... Jesus Christ. These websites just played... I don't know if you guys all heard that. Just played music in my ear. What the hell was that? Yeah, she's a brave individual. This is the kind of thing that's dangerous. Because it's easier to discuss your feelings. It's easier to justify... Because you can't... Look, I can't tell her that she's happy. I can't tell her that she's angry or sad. I can't tell anyone that's watching on YouTube or Instagram and such. I can't tell you how to feel. I can't judge your feelings. You're going to feel how you feel. That's what a feeling fucking is. It's subjective. But there's objective facts that are being ignored. And when you ignore an objective fact, we got a real fucking problem, especially when you have millions of followers. It's much easier to complain. It's much easier to play a victim. It's much easier to pretend that you're happy. It's much easier to put on this fucking facade. And now, like we were mentioning before, Tess Holliday is losing weight, but now she can't talk about her weight loss. She can't be verbal about it because she talked about how she's so obese and beautiful and fit and shit like that. But now it's coming down to it. Now she's losing weight. She's so full of shit. She's full of shit. And it's a good thing she's losing weight, but just shows a hypocrisy. Because now all of a sudden, what? Now you're going to be this fit person? I thought being obese was so beautiful. I thought it's beautiful while you're obese, but then if you're not obese anymore, wow, this is better, isn't it? Isn't it better? You lose all that weight, get that extra skin cut off. Why are you changing if it's so wonderful? Why are you changing if you're so big and beautiful? Why? Why are you changing? That's the thing. I think half the people that watch her are watching her to wait for her to have a fucking heart attack. They're hate watching her. And then other people are watching her and think, wow, you know what? That's a really good point. When you have 2/3 of the United States, 2/3 motherfuckers, 2/3 are overweight or have diabetes or are obese. 2/3. Okay? 2/3 of the population are overweight, diabetic, pre-diabetic, obese. 2/3 of the population. So all the people that are watching her content or listening or reading that fucking shit, 2/3 of the people reading that shit are overweight. 2/3 of the people that are watching and reading Tess Holliday's shit are overweight. It's percentages. Let's just say it's across the board, all races, all sexes, all socioeconomic, whatever. That means every single person of the percentage of the people that are watching these channels, 2/3 of them are overweight, obese, diabetic, pre-diabetic. And I'm not saying that everyone is gullible like that, but a lot of people are. And a lot of people are, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so wonderful, you're such a strong person. Why? For typing a good caption? For taking a picture and smiling on Instagram? Wow, no one's ever smiled on Instagram before. Wow, no one's ever been full of shit before. No one's ever believed their fucking bullshit that much before. No one's ever been a sociopath before. No one's ever taken a fucking a selfie, smiling before that wasn't really happy. What are you talking about? Like, has nothing to do. One has nothing to do with the other. You're not a strong individual. A strong individual for just relinquishing your ability to change your state, for not taking responsibility, for just embracing it rather than addressing the actual issue and trying to lose it and documenting your journey that way and creating an environment and a community of people that are struggling and dealing with the same challenges and helping them. Fucked up, man. It's fucked up. It's rude. It's rude and it's evil. And it's not like it's her intent. I'm not saying that she's a terrible person, because I'm free to my opinions. She's free to her opinions. It's just a fucking sad situation that kind of bullshit gets on like these fucking magazines that have so many subscribers, on television shows. It's like, what the fuck are we watching? I've never watched her show. I don't even want to look at her face. I made a video on it. I can't look at her face because I look at those words and I look at her fucking stupid mug and I'm like, you're an evil person. It's important to understand the power that you have when you have a voice and a platform. It's power. It's power in the sense, not that you're like, I'm wielding power at my command. Swole enormous nation, you shall, yes, we shall take over the world. No, but the power in the sense that when I say words, they're going into open ear holes. All right, when I stroke my beard, it's going into open eye holes in 4 motherfucking K. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Information and the message that I put out, there are a lot of people listening to it. So I feel a responsibility to be authentic to myself. Now, it doesn't mean that my opinions or what I say is always right. I mean, an opinion is not right or wrong by definition. However, I understand that people are listening to this that are going to maybe be more susceptible to taking my advice and putting it into practice and putting it into actual application. And if you put that fucking bullshit that I just showed you into application, you are on a fast track to Fuckville. And I don't know where Fuckville is, but you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to Fuckville. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. You think it's good. It ain't. It ain't. There's a lot of fuckery there's a lot of fuckery in Fuckville. You do not want to go there. I promise you that. Anyway, so if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. It's another episode of it's another version of the same fucking message, consumed, gestated, fucking vomited, lapped back up, shat out the back, consumed again, vomited, and then thrown against a wall. It's the same type of just recycled nonsense. The language, it's a play on language. You have to pay attention and read between the lines. They're not making the right argument. They're shifting the argument towards feelings. Feelings don't care. Feelings have nothing to do with diabetes. Feelings have nothing to do with being able to wipe your own ass. Feelings have nothing to do with that. Either you can or you can't. Either you have it or you don't. It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. There's so many people. Everywhere you go to the fucking store and look around you. Anywhere you go today. This weekend, wherever you are, going out to have some drinks with friends, look around at everyone. Every guy has a fucking gut. Every woman has a gut. Everyone's got a fucking gut. Everyone's got extra fat hanging off around their stomach, if not elsewhere. Why is that? It's a problem. And people aren't addressing it like a serious situation because just like we were talking about yesterday on the podcast, it's a major business. Billions of dollars with diabetic medication, obesity, doctor's visits, fucking insurance, billing through the fucking roof. Just tons and tons of food being purchased. It's just a business and everyone is just buying into it. Again, like I've said before, every time you buy food, you're voting. You're voting on this shit. So start making some better fucking choices and wake the fuck up. The decisions you're making every day in all aspects of your life, from your cleaning materials to what you're putting in your mouth, what you're telling your kids, what you're putting on the TV, what the podcast you're listening to, it all makes a difference. So reminder, Sunday is the Sunday Funday Q&A-ness. If you want to learn more about where you can subscribe to the podcast, checking out the blog and all the other links for social accounts, programs, training, nutrition, apparel, everything, go visit swolenormousx.com. Again, that's swolenormousx.com. And on YouTube, it should be in the post description down below. I will be here tomorrow, of course, for episode 1184. But on Sunday is the Sunday Funny Q&A-ness. And the episode I'm referring to yesterday, the Quadcast with Alan Roberts, Michelle McDaniel, and John Glaude, is yesterday's 1182. And that's available everywhere. If you're not yet subscribed on the Daily Swole podcast channel on YouTube, go subscribe now, and I'll see you tomorrow for episode 1184 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and a Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, ya boy, Papa Swolio. Oh, out.